What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Divij podcast, episode 153. Man, it feels good, man. It feels good to be back. You know, we're in the holiday season. We're about to take a couple weeks off and just relax, reflect on the year, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are doing, you know, planning for 2026 and all the beautiful things that are to come. And I was praying about like who I felt I wanted on my podcast. And, you know, me and Grant, or shout out Grant, Till Death Network, check him out. I said that way wrong. TillDeathNetwork.com. Is that the website? Yeah. You don't even have a website, do you? Instagram, Till Death Network. But yeah, I was praying about like who I want on the podcast, and I was kind of going through my guest list, and I was like, you know what, I want one of my homies on who, you know, that I love and that I respect, and just to kind of catch up and kind of hear how their life has been throughout the year. And God put Soul J in my heart. So man, we got my good friend Soul J.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Purple, Swag City.
Appreciate you having me here today.
Thanks for coming, bro.
Yeah, man, it's an honor. I've been waiting, man. I've been seeing all the past ones. So
you pulled up like Michael Jackson in the outfit, though. What is that? Can we talk about this? Where's this from?
So this one, I actually got this on a family trip in Solvang. I don't know if you heard.
I know Solvang.
Yeah, Solvang, and I like it was like a little boutique shop or something, and I saw they had this, and I was like, yo, this is fire. And I don't know. I think this was like originally like a girl's one or something. But I'm like, yo, when I put it on, it just looked like it's a Soul J one. So
no, that's hard.
Yeah, and I felt like, you know, these Melrose pants, you know, it only felt right.
No, it looks cool. What did you think about the Young Thug dress on the album cover? Did you ever see that?
We talking like 2016 now.
Long time ago, yeah, tight.
Honestly, when I seen that, because I was in high school at the time, I didn't know what to think about it. Because I did rock with his music. So I wasn't quick to judge on that one.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as time went along, we just saw more and more.
Yeah.
More and more of the different artists. Like he kind of pioneered that type of comfortability.
Yes.
Some would say homo-esque. Homo-esque look.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't say I feel bad or good about it. It's neutral.
I feel like there's beauty in everything, brother, and there's so much beauty in femininity too. So like for an artist like that who's at the top to like make that the center focus of his album and like put on, he's almost like putting on for the female community in a way. But like I thought it was artsy. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah. No,
I wouldn't wear it, but
yeah,
I could appreciate.
Exactly. You know, yeah. As time went on, I kind of began to appreciate that, like his open expression, because I have my own phases, you know.
Yes, you used to wear dresses.
Femme-esque. Honestly, what's the things called? That's like it's called like a blouse or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think I got one of those from the same place I got this that I'll be wearing sometimes. And
yeah.
I just be feeling right.
I be seeing Bieber wearing like crop tops, so I'm like, all right.
I actually ain't seen that. Well, I be seeing a lot of dudes actually be wearing like some hip ass dudes, some cool dudes that be wearing some hood dudes that be wearing some crop right above the belt or something.
Yeah,
I be seeing those, and so those are.
Yeah, no, there's art, fashion is crazy, man. It's such a beautiful art. But anyways, we digress, dude. So for the people that don't know who Soul J is, I mean, like when I was praying about like how I was gonna start the podcast, and then I kind of just didn't even acknowledge it. But when I think about Soul J, like I go to like. I think about you as a very artistic human being who I think you have this level of solitude about you, and I think your spirit really kind of shines through the way that you act, the way that you speak, the way that you present yourself, and I just think you have this like really unique nature about who you are. And so I would love to just like, how would you describe like Soul J? Like, who is Soul J?
Soul J, who is Soul J? Well, to put it simply, you know, I'd say passion is what I like to live off of and thrive off of, you know, and I like to, you know, have purpose as my drive, and I felt like that started way before like my first baptism when I was like 4, because I remember playing it's crazy how my consciousness like opened at such a young age, but when I was 2, I remember like playing some drums like on a little knick-knack toy, like that was playing some like drum and bass drums. And then anyways, fast forward to the baptism, and he told me that he asked if I knew I was being baptized today, and I said yeah, and I started like shaking, and they said that that was like the Holy Spirit. And then after they did that, he said that that he see, even though I was a little shy boy. I was a little shy boy.
Yeah.
Hardly talked, but he said that I was going to be like preaching to the nations
Wow.
and like really ministering and stuff. And basically, as the years went on, and I finally started making music when I was 13, doing all this stuff. Like my mom, shout out my mom, she would constantly hear different people saying they having visions of who they see me as and what they see me doing.
Yeah.
And it all tied back to that first prophecy. And she still hears it to this day, despite
Wow.
where I'm at in life, what I may be putting out, what I may be expressing.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, you know, Soul J is here to really fulfill and yeah, make the most out of it and make the most out of the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. So did you, when you got baptized, I mean, you were 4. So like at that time, did you know who Jesus was, or like, how did you, cause you're Christian, right?
Yes.
How did you come into Christianity? Like, were you raised Christian?
Well, so after I was born, I was baptized in the Catholic Church because, you know, my mom was single. My mom was single, and
Yeah.
my mom's full Filipino. So on that Filipino side, on my mom's side, like most of them are Catholic. Not a lot of them still are active in that faith, especially since, you know, my parents became pastors a little over 10 years ago. But yes, my mom was single at the time, but she was very faith driven already. She had already like had a calling from God. Like I think it was soon before I was born.
Yeah.
And so she would always bring me to church. And
Yeah.
and I was speaking in tongues at a young age. I think,
Dang.
yeah, it was like 4, 5, 6. You know, just already very like Jesus filled. And
Wow.
yeah, so like I was always like a faith founded, you know,
Yeah.
faith driven person. And but yeah, so yeah, the Christianity, basically my whole life. I don't know if I would even be considered under the Catholic faith at that when I was born. I think that was kind of like respect to my Lola and Lolo, which are my grandma and grandmother. I mean grandma and grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, got it. And you said you're from Utah originally?
Well, I was born in San Francisco.
San Francisco, yeah.
Born in
that's
San
right.
Francisco. Lived there for the first 2 years of my life. That's where like my mom, my aunt, and my grandmother, they were like the main people raising me
Yeah.
at the time. And then my mom wanted to move to LA because she was modeling. She was modeling and acting. And yeah, so when I was 2, we moved to LA, Sherman Oaks. And I remember I was in a couple like short films with
Yeah.
her and stuff, and she was doing some scenes in a movie with Eddie Murphy and
Dang.
yeah, and one of them other movies with the guy who played Eisen. What's his name from Breaking Bad? The main character.
Oh,
Heisenberg.
Heisenberg. Yeah.
the
Walter
guy-
White.
Yeah.
I forget his real name.
Yeah.
Brian
Yeah,
Cranston.
Bryan Cranston. Yeah,
Legend.
yeah. She played something in a movie with him as well. But
Dang.
yeah. So like the entertainment industry was always, before I was born. That's already in my genes. That's actually how my biological father and my mother met, was through theater
Wow.
and stuff. So yeah, kind of went off on a tangent there. That was based off where I was from.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so 2 to 10 years old, basically, she met my new father, who ended up adopting me. So I took his last name, which is actually where Jay comes from. Because the last name Jimenez, and because if you were to just look at my name without seeing me, you would think I'm very much Mexican. Because Sol, Angel, and
Yeah.
Angel Jimenez, you know. And so it's
That's crazy.
yeah, pretty crazy.
You don't
pretty
look
crazy.
very Mexican.
Exactly. Exactly, man. So yeah, so I just chose to take the first letter of the last name and just spell it out. Soul
Yeah.
J. But anyways, yeah, she met my now father when I was 6, and of course, you know, those know when you have single mom and a new father comes in, you know, it's like you don't. It takes years to like fully actually embrace it, you know. So, anyways, yeah, they got married when I was 7, and it was his idea for us to move out to Utah when I was 10.
I see.
I wasn't a fan of the idea, you know, but we ended up doing that. We ended up doing that with the family. They wanted to start a family out there, and yeah, so moved out there, and I ain't like it at all. I ain't like it at all because immediately I learned what racism was.
Right.
Even though you could call me Asian or whatever, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I got quarter Irish in me, but I was straight chink, you know, to the people out there, because it was just all white people, all Mormon, you know. I don't want to say all, but you know, at least 90%.
Yeah.
And so I had to experience that, and then I think I appreciate that. It's part of my purpose because it separated me from the bunch, and I got to focus on where my passion was, and that was when I was 13. My biological dad actually gifted me Ableton Live.
Wow.
And then from there, I just never stopped making music. Yeah. And I made my way back out here actually, just 4 years ago.
Just to pursue the arts.
Yeah, just to fully like take advantage of every opportunity that I could have, because there was no industry out there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Dude, that's so crazy. I definitely want to get into like the music and kind of like what your ambitions are. But before we get into that, I'm very curious because, you know, my girlfriend has a daughter. And so I've kind of stepped into this like almost stepfather role. Right. And, you know, you have to take it very serious because it's, you know, she's 5 and she's a real human being that's growing, and, you know, she is very impressionable. So the people around her, especially in that male father figure role, are very crucial to her development. And so, you know, I think about like whether or not, if I was in her position, like, would I accept this new man coming into my life as my father figure? Like, would I accept that? And so it sounds like you kind of had to go through that at a young age too. So I'm curious what it was like for you, you know, having your real father and then having this new man come into your life playing that role. And it sounds like you addressed him as your father, so you do accept him as that. But what was that process like for you?
Well, you know, at first, you know, like my mom would always like ask my permission and stuff, like if it's okay if he's there and watches me, whatever. Yeah. And of course, yeah, like before they were married, I was digging it. He was a cool guy. And then, you know, things kind of started to shift when the disciplinary role came in. And I was used to my mom like handling all the discipline, because she would handle all the physical and verbal discipline. You know what I'm saying? I would get spankings since I would get spankings since I was 2 years old. 2 years old and everything, from my grandmother and my mom. And then things changed when I ain't finished math homework, and now the leather belt getting snapped.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So things were just it took me some time to like fully adjust to there being another, like an actual different person who's playing a dad role now. Because my mom used to be my mom and my dad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was very crucial. And that was very crucial, I'd say. But as I've grown up, I've learned to understand and appreciate him, because, you know, I was his trial role for being a father, you know, and he didn't raise me from a baby. So he kind of came midway through my early development. And so it was cool. It was cool. It actually took me like at least 10 years to fully embrace. But during that time, you know, I would see, probably until I was 10 to 13 is when I would see my biological dad maybe once a year, or once every other year. Yeah. Just like see him for a couple of days. He would be at like a different party in California or something. And and that was cool. But my mom didn't like it a lot, because I would come back with like blisters on my skin, because basically he wouldn't put sunscreen. He wouldn't put sunscreen on me during those times, and so it was just different dynamics. But I did really appreciate when it came to me turning 13, because he actually, for my 13th birthday, he gave me Ableton Live, because he had his own past making music, and he was in a rock band when he was in high school or something, or in college too.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't fully know that until until recently. And I'm like, wow. And then me learning about different vices and things that he had growing up is like the same. So I have a similar path. And so genetics, I've been learning a lot about genetics in the past few years, because that part of my genetics was never around for me to like learn from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that part is important. Is at least whoever the son or daughter is learns who both their parents are and were. And, you know, if there are things that are better to avoid, at least they know that that there's more of a chance that it'll come up, because just based off of a genealogy, if that's a real word.
That's a real word.
Yeah, genealogy. So that's my take on the new dad thing.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I definitely do feel like artisticness, if that's a word, is I do feel like that is genetic to a degree. Like, you know, you look at like some of the biggest artists in the world now, like they come from a musical family, and I think just like being around parents who are in the arts, you know, maybe singing or like playing certain songs around you, like it can definitely be imprinted on sort of like your creative spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you were in kind of an interesting position where your parents and it sounds like maybe even your stepdad were like artistic people or in entertainment. And so for you to now want to pursue that, I feel like, you know, because I feel like a lot of times when people pursue music or arts, like their parents kind of give them a hard time because it's like, yo, you're kind of taking like this risky path that's not really sustainable, right? So like, were your parents and your stepfather, like, were they supportive of your ambitions in music?
Well, that is, there's different stages, I guess, of that path that had to take place. But I think it wouldn't have gone anywhere if I didn't have the like true belief in myself that things were gonna go somewhere. But yeah, because after I started making music, I was 13 and I was putting because like I was making beats first. And I wanted to hear myself rap too, because like I love rap music and stuff. Even though, you know, I was only allowed to listen to clean rap music.
Yeah.
I was only allowed to listen to clean rap music until they couldn't control it anymore when I was like 14, 15, whatever. Yeah. But still, whenever I was in their household, only allowed to make clean music. That was a huge thing, because I had different influences. But yeah, when I was 13, I put out my first songs. I was already releasing music on SoundCloud and had my first performance, like low key, like one of my biggest performances, because that was it was at a talent show at my charter school. So it was like kindergarten to 8th grade, and I was in the 8th grade at that time. And I remember performing that. And but all of that, it's like, at the beginning, it's like it was more of like oh yeah, no, this is cool, you know, this is like no, this is cool, son, this is cool. And then you know, then they saw like how serious I was taking it, and that I would actually keep putting out whatever I was making. And I was already collaborating with rappers at 13 years old, and making so many songs, like a mixtape of songs at that age. Yeah. And they saw that I was driven, and so when they saw that, they definitely had to, they would pull me aside for talks sometimes, like about being careful about what I put out there, and that what the guidelines are, like as long as I'm in their household. And of course, you know, just getting into the high school age, I got more in depth with the underground as soon as I got Antares Auto-Tune. I was like, oh dang, this is a whole sound that is like actually addicting to make, because like just singing any of these notes, I didn't know I could actually sound like that. Just put the retune speed at 0. And and that's why I had so much fun with that. But I got involved with the underground community. There was an underground community on SoundCloud at 2017, 2018 to 2019. And at that time, the music definitely took a shift. And I was 16 when I put a song out or something where I said some things that they didn't want to hear. And they grounded me from making music, at that time. And I ended up writing even more songs about that whole situation that they put me in, and it was cool to see that so many kids could relate to that, could relate to, feeling like their passion and stuff was being restricted because they feel that the parents or their guardian doesn't see the same big picture that they do. And but yeah, so like I said, it's like it's like they'll support it for what they want to hear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So but if it's not what they want to hear, they're not gonna they're not gonna want to listen to it or say anything about it or talk about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they don't openly support it. They don't share it and stuff because they're pastors, so they gotta keep their image clean. And me being a pastor's kid, I can agree. Yeah, it may not always be the best look for some things that I maybe wanted to express.
Yeah.
So
what I'm curious because I'm kind of going through this right now. My parents aren't pastors, and they're much more accepting of what I talk about in my music. Like I'll make songs about women and money and all this stuff, and they'll be like, yeah, we love this, and they'll start sharing it to their friends. So I didn't really have that kind of restriction from my parents. So I'm curious with you, like, what was the content of the music that you were putting out, or maybe you're still putting out, that they feel like they couldn't get behind?
Well, it was really just using like the F word, the B word, the S word, because I was...
What's the S word?
Shit.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. That's not even that bad.
Shit, fuck, bitch. You know what I'm saying?
SFB. SFB, bro. Come on.
Yeah, but me, like and here's the thing, dude, is like when I started swearing, I was in 3rd grade, and because the influences in LA, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was swearing, and I was already talking, still how I'm talking right now.
Yeah.
And I was swearing a whole lot more in 3rd grade, and I remember that was one of them things where I moved to Utah, and I said the F word or the S word like once, and they were like, "Whoa, yeah, we don't say that we don't say that here." Like I was like, "Huh?" Like, yeah, it was like awkward times, weird times, a different culture shock. But yeah, no. But when it came to the music, it was like, I think my main topics, I mean, throughout me always making music have been women, and I think at that time it was a lot less respectful, and I would also just talk about rebelling type of things, just because of it felt like I had a constant restriction, whether or not it was enforced or not. It was it's one of those things where it felt good to release express and release the, like, what else there is the world can offer, which I learned after becoming an adult that I don't think I want what the world has to offer, but rather God.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
yeah.
It's interesting. So because you identify as Christian.
Yes.
So as a Christian that makes music, because God calls us to make disciples, right? And to tell about his word to everyone around us. So do you feel a level of responsibility or even pressure to speak about God and Jesus and Christianity in your music?
I think I used to. I think I used to feel that kind of pressure not from God, but from my parents. Which I think felt more like a religious thing, at that time. When I did feel pressured from it, it felt like religious pressure. But now, I mean, even in like high school and stuff, that I would always have spiritual underlying things, underlying bars that would or underlying just messages throughout my songs that were there was something spiritual that I would always be mentioning, whether it was the good or the bad, because I would mention when I'm fighting my demons, when I'm dealing with that. And it's crazy. Me doing all that, I learned the power of the tongue.
Yeah.
And especially when you have influence. And I learned the hard way,
Yeah.
It's I was talking about drugs I wasn't doing. That's a huge thing. Yeah, actually, was talking about drugs I wasn't doing. Just talking about doing things that I wasn't doing because I wasn't allowed to. But the popping rappers were. The
Yeah.
rappers I would listen to, especially like Future, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, and then so basically when I finally could, when I turned 18, graduated high school, literally right after, because yeah, like I had just applied for Dixie State University, which is now called Utah Tech, but yeah, I basically so I could go out whenever now, and I started doing the drugs that I would talk about because I'm like, you know what, I'm a man of my word. So if I said that, you know what, let me try it. Let me see. And phew, that was a downhill slope, a very steep downhill slope that came to an end. Like I don't know if it maybe last like a month and a half.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, but what brought it to an end was like a near fatal car accident, you know. That was thankfully no one else was hurt. No, nothing crazy was damaged or anything, but I mean, except me demolishing my parents' car, you know. But yeah, it was a car accident that left me in a coma, traumatic brain injury, you know, 3 brain bleeds. And yeah, basically the investigators, the cops, they didn't even like look into what was in my blood because they thought I was a goner. You know, it was bad. It was bad. And so yeah, I didn't get nothing crazy for that, but except just yeah, just rehab, just vocational speech therapy, you know, just like everything, just teaching me how to be a human again. And that was honestly probably like one of the most happiest times of my life because
Really?
I didn't know what happened. You know, I was just living life without worry, you know. It was crazy, but it was crazy. It was even crazier me just realizing as I was coming out of it like why I was still here. You know, cuz I didn't have to be. I was doing bad things that led me to led the thing to happening. And especially me hearing about what happened that same night was this girl that was my same age was just out with her friends and she got hit by a drunk driver and she got a traumatic brain injury and she's never going to be the same. You know, she got the worst of it, you know, and and her mental was different and just like everything. And I'm just like, wow. Yeah. Like that really, that was the most strengthening part of my faith journey was that happening. Cause I'm like, wow, like there's a reason I'm still here. There's a reason I can talk, I can be creative, I can sing still, and I can move, I can do everything. I can do everything. And I feel like I shouldn't be able to. Like that was such a crazy time. But that me learning too about what saved it, or you know what I believe was the reason. You know, all the prayer that came from it, that came from that time. That right after my mom found out, because she was in the Bay when that happened, so she was tripping. You know, like really just asking everyone for prayer, everyone that she could think of to really help that happen, and even creating another Instagram, you know, Pray for Soul J, that the underground music community got behind and really were like, wow, like nah, not Soul J, you know, like this is crazy, and like that showed me too, like wow, like I really, there's an impact that I've made, you know, and so if I'm not putting this towards the right things, that impact can be for the best or the worst, but it's gonna be an impact either way. So all that said, you know, I think that whatever my parents' thoughts on my music putting out at that time is valid. You know, it's like you don't want your son like having to go through like putting this out for the world, especially when you see that he's talented and got influence and stuff. Yeah. You know, whenever I would hear them say that, I would just chalk it up to they just my mom, they just my dad, they just saying that. Yeah. You know, but yeah, as I'm growing up, you know, I'm learning there's truth behind a lot of that. I think there's just some extent that you should put to how much you're gonna restrict, because the more you restrict, I think the more the person is gonna want to rebel and want to experience what else there is, what they're missing, what they're missing, especially when everyone around them that they know is getting to experience it. at that time, it's like, okay, I didn't get to experience it then, so let me experience it now, because now
Yeah.
I'm allowed to, So
Yeah.
I think there should be some grace, in terms of how strict you are. But I can't say that they knew exactly what they were. I mean, wait, he knew exactly what he was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I was his first trial,
Yeah.
and he realizes that to this day. And so
Mm.
it just taught me what I want to do for my kids and what I don't want to do for my kids, and how
Yes.
I want to treat and restrict them, and how I don't.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just all been a learning journey. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so sick, man. Not that you got into the accident. That's not sick. I'm so glad you're here. So
No, I
glad you're alive.
appreciate that, man.
But
Yeah.
I do feel like there's a lot of lessons in what you just said on a
Yeah.
couple different fronts. So I wanna say those. Like, I feel like with parents, when I look at my parents, first of all, I love them to death. But I'm also like, like you guys did a lot of things that I definitely wouldn't do with my kids. But I give them grace and forgiveness because I know that this was their first time being parents, and they're just, they made decisions in their life based on what they knew at the time, and like they're never going to be perfect, right? And we're never going to be perfect as parents either.
Exactly.
And it's like this cycle that's going to continue on, and all we can do is do our best.
Yeah.
And then with the accident stuff, it's like, something I think about is like, you think about like Liam Payne or Prince or Michael Jackson, all these people that unfortunately have passed away, and they were at the peak of their game when it came to music and art.
Yeah.
And you know how they say, like, when people die, it's like they'll talk about them for a week, and then you kind of stop even thinking about, like, no one's thought about Liam Payne in the last couple, like, I'm saying, no one's been talking about him at all, unfortunately. But it's like, the reality is there are people, and I think when you think like that, it's kind of a negative perspective, because you start to think like, what's the purpose of me even being here, or like doing things if no one's going to care about me when I'm not even at the same level as a Liam Payne. But I think what we got to realize is there are people around us that do love us and that do care, like the underground community that was around you and your parents, that, your existence and my existence really does matter to them. And I think, like you said, power of tongue, like when we use our talents and our words and our actions for the betterment of the people around us, like, it can go really far. Like, you can be a really positive influence to the people around you. And it may not be at the level of a Liam Payne or a Michael Jackson, but in your community, it can matter,
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, those are my thoughts. I wanted to also talk about, I'm reading this book right now called Garden City.
Garden City.
Yeah, by John Mark Comer. And it talks about like our callings that we all have, right? Like, especially in the work that we do. And as a Christian, I think about, how can I make disciples, or, give glory to God through my work, right? And I got into making Christian music, so like music that directly referenced God. But when I started doing that, I started missing the secular stuff. And like, because I felt like the secular music that I was making was just so much harder than the Christian stuff. And what I realized through this book is that, there's this candy, right? Like, someone that made this candy, it's called Shameless, and it doesn't have a God reference on it, right? And then there could be a different candy brand that is called God's Candy, and it directly does reference God, right? So two people made a product, one has God on it, one doesn't.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that this candy doesn't glorify God, because, it was made with love, or people might be eating it when they're stressed out and it calms them down. So like, I guess my point of that is, I feel like you can still make music that glorifies God that doesn't directly reference God, but maybe it still does talk about women, or it does talk about other things, right? So I just think that's interesting. Like, even with your music, like, even if it's about, like, it still could. You know what I'm saying?
What I think on that is, I think that if as long as like the lyrics aren't something that can be glorified for the wrong reasons, or like glorifying the wrong things on there. So I'd say glorifying women rather than a woman. I'd say that's more like, I can't say that's for God.
Right.
I'd say that's for self, for ego. And I say that from experience, dude. One of my last albums, Fell in Lust in L.A., you know?
Yeah.
So that one was its whole own book of just different experiences and
Yeah.
like, and love and the shaky version of it, lust, you know? And, but yeah, so I think that's something I'm differentiating. I'm starting to differentiate is rather than just glorifying multiple women at the same time. If I'm not glorifying just God's children, God's daughters, or just of women as a whole, and I'm just talking about my women, you know, there's different how would you say it? You know, just underlying things to those and overarching things as well, which are, you know, if you're glorifying that and say it's like you're talking about how many bitches you got, and how much money you making off of them, you know, it's like if someone's singing that, before, and and they get in a car accident while they're singing that, you know, are they singing for God, like as like in their death seat, you know, or is that not, and that's going the wrong way. So that's something I'm starting to like take into account for my own self,
Yeah.
because I still got over like 100 unreleased songs that I'm trying to
Thank you.
that I'm just at conflict with. I'm at
Yeah.
conflict with, because I'm like, yo, is this what I want to promote? Is this where I'm at spiritually, or is this just, am I just promoting who I want people to see, who I want people, who I think will be popular, who you know, just think like the easy way.
Yeah.
Easy way. Because I'd say if you're doing all the glorifying material things, that's the easy way. Because I'd say most people in the world would love to have all the material things in the world, and it's something where, yeah, when you're able to preach a word, or, you know, sing something that's empowering for the soul and for faith, and you're able to get that heard and like really do that, that shows your true influence and your true like true power of influence. Because it's, yeah, you know, that's just my personal experience with it, because I've had my buzzes, had my buzzing times. I've had, you know, people, I still have fans that have been supporting me for almost a full decade now. And they're, you know, it's crazy. One of them commented on one of my songs from, it was 7-8 years ago, but it's like, what, 170,000 streams on SoundCloud. They commented like 8 years ago, like, yo, I probably got all these like 20 streams by myself, whatever. Now they commented a couple months ago, or maybe a month or two ago, and said, Soul J, it's time to, and this is the same person, Soul J, it's time to like put your message for God and Jesus out on YouTube, TikTok, SoundCloud, and all this. And I'm like, what, dude? This person was supporting me through my most secular times, my most dark, devious music, whatever. And but they're still here, and they it's like they know like this path that I'm called for, and they're reminding me of it. So that was pretty crazy for me to see, because I know God has a huge plan in store for me with you know, when I'm really all in with the Christian music and just gospel music and music for God and not for the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, bro. So when you go in the studio now, like, do you lean on like the Holy Spirit before you kind of go into the booth, or is it like you'll kind of make whatever comes to your mind or heart and soul, and then after you'll kind of like vet, like, okay, was this for God or not for God, and then kind of like decide, okay, I'm gonna put this out, I'm not gonna put this out. Like, how do you filter through what's for God and what's not for God?
Well, you know, it's kind of like clear to see, like by the end of a song that I'm listening to, like what it was made for.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of it is what's showcased and delivered through my messages and expressed through my messages and my music is like spiritual warfare. So sometimes it'll really feel, and like I kind of know that it's like God speaking through me, through ones, and they have helped me through some of my toughest like mental
Yeah.
imbalances and just mental just like blockages, barriers that I've been there for so long because of something as little or as big as unforgiveness. And I've been able to forgive people through saying it in my music. And because that's it's like, to me, it's like writing in stone. When if I say it in my music, it's like writing in stone until I flip the stone over and choose to write something else on it. But as long as something is still on that same wavelength, it's gonna stay. That engraving is gonna get deeper.
Yeah.
So like that's what I'm trying to engrave deeper is my spiritual message and my message for God. And that's one of those things. I mean, someone I could really appreciate doing that is Tory Lanez.
Really?
Yeah, Tory Lanez is not afraid to really preach the gospel, and like I don't know when he started doing it, but I feel like for the past like 3 or 4 albums, he's had like at least 1 or 2 songs in there that are like God God centered, like and so I appreciate saying that. I appreciate him like not feeling discouraged to preach a message like that, especially when you're at a tier of an artist as he is, and someone I could give props to for real is Ye for doing a Jesus is King album, and like getting what felt like the Avengers in the rap industry on the album as well. And because what I think that did, what I seen it did, is it made a lot more people, especially in the rap industry, not afraid to preach God's message as well. And since then too, we've seen a bigger divide between who's like blatantly willing to glorify the devil and who's blatantly willing to glorify God. And we hear it in radio music nowadays too, and it's pretty crazy how far that line has gone. I mean, people like Cardi, that cross my neck, shut them up,
Yeah.
Yeah, just crazy.
Wait, Cardi it made a song glorifying God?
No, upside down.
Oh,
cross.
upside down cross. I was like, yeah, it doesn't really sound like Cardi would make a
Yeah,
song
no,
like that.
upside down cross, tat on my neck, shut them up. And I'm just like, wow. People like that's and just repeating that and having people repeat that. It's something where I caught on to probably in high school of like seeing the devil's work in music.
Yeah.
And how much these artists are making these hard songs about some crazy ass disrespectful shit, and or just very just blatantly sinful activities where it's like, yo, imagine how many people died listening to that music.
Yeah.
And how many people that whatever rapper that was, how many souls he gave to the devil.
Yeah.
And so I started thinking about that, and I'm like, wow, there's a reason why they keep propelling up, because they're promoting things that's giving the devil what he wants. So he's gonna do whatever he can to get that, to keep boosting that up.
Yeah.
And and I think it's the same for God. But when you're in the lukewarm area, I mean, my mom reminded me of that recently, of like, when you're in the lukewarm, she said something from the Bible that like God says, if you're lukewarm, he spits you out. And that's something that, is just like me being at conflict with myself, feels like battles with like me and the lukewarm self of just like, yo, I could say I'm that, but am I doing that? So I just, I do want to be all in, but it's my mom knew from the beginning that I had a long journey, and it's not, we're not even close to seeing an end right now. So there's a lot that's going to be happening. But yeah, that's just my outlook / in-look with this industry that I've been creating in for the longest time, especially me living in Hollywood Hills for the past 4 years now.
Yeah.
You know, I've gotten to see it just like face value, seeing how dark this stuff gets. And this stuff gets very dark, man. And you know, something else I learned about that was or maybe relearned was that, you know, we got angels and we got demons, and neither of them have access to us unless we give them permission. And so we give permission to the dark more often than we realize.
Yes.
And that's where things can start to get even worse. But when we give permission to God and give permission to the angels and stuff, things change. Things change, and yeah, in mysterious ways, some may say.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that's just how I see it.
Yeah. Nah, dude, that's so beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, I just did my Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah.
And my number one artist was Playboi Carti. And then the other 4 were all worship.
Oh, word.
So I was like, this is kind of an interesting like balance out. Like I gotta really I'm at 2026, no, there's no Playboi Carti. Like I'm just all eyes on God. But it was kind of interesting because, you know, the music that he makes does sound so good. And it's like, imagine if it was that same type of music, same beat structure, same like cadence, but it was just all worship, you know? And I feel like there's that gap in our Christian world of music that I think will be filled pretty soon.
Yeah, very soon. I'm already hearing some artists that are like doing that type, that Christian artists. Yeah. Christian artists that I'm like really getting behind. That's making me like really want to get in that wave with them, you know? Yeah. That's like, because the way they're doing it, it sounds amazing. Sounds like the replay value is up. Yeah. You know, it's something where I just love to see. I love to see, because I didn't expect to be hearing Christian music like this, you know, 10 years ago. Even though, you know, I was listening to some solid Christian rap over 10 years ago. You know, 116 Click? No. Okay, but you know Lecrae, of course, and you know Andy Mineo. Yeah. Yeah, Andy Mineo used to be like one of my favorite rappers when I was like 14 and stuff. I bought like Lecrae's album, Gravity, Andy Mineo's album, forgot what it was called, but yeah, no, like I've always like Christian music and Christian rap music has always been in my rotation. I've always been in my rotation, but I'm just happy to see where it's starting to go as of recent. But yeah, so I think that hard sound that you are talking about, I think it's gonna start flowing around more often, and if not, we're gonna be the ones to start creating it. Yeah, real, truthfully.
100%. Yeah, absolutely, bro. I love what you said about like, you know, the demons and the angels don't get access to us unless we give them permission. I think that's so well said, because it's kind of like this saying that I forgot who said it, but they were like, you know, never place your eyes on something that you don't want your feet to go. And I thought that was kind of similar to what you said of like, you know, we recognize that there's demons and the devil and all this negative stuff like lust and temptation and drugs and alcohol, and it's like, it's very easy to say yes to all of that stuff, but it's also very easy to say yes to all the beautiful things in life, like sunlight and you know, nutritious meals and the gym and creativity and and it's like, when you just say yes to all these beautiful things that bring light into your life, like it truly does change, I think, the way that we think, the way we act, the way that we speak. And I think that directly impacts the music. And like, I've seen it for myself, like waking up early, like, you know, being like, yo, like God made this day, I'm going to enjoy it. Like, you know, it's the present, it's a gift from God. And I see that energy that I feel and that, you know, in my spirit, you know, then go into my music. And it's only been a net positive, you know, overall. But
I love to hear that, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Because when did you start making Christian music?
Maybe like a year and a half ago.
Okay. And when did you start making music in general?
2020, 2021.
Okay, so you were making music for about 3.5 years.
Yeah.
That was secular.
Yeah.
Secular. And what changed? Like, what made you change and make the firm change into, yo, like, I really want to start doing this and promoting this to like its full potential for God.
Yeah.
You know, like what made that shift?
I think it was, I mean, I gave my life to Christ when I was 26, 27. Just going through like what I went through with my mom and her health and stuff. And I was like, you know, anytime I speak or do anything in my life, like I want it to glorify God in some way. And when I realized what the Holy Spirit was and the power of it and like really getting in, you know, like being led by your spirit, like that to me, it was like a no-brainer. Like when I go to the studio now, like I don't even really want to go to the studio unless I feel like God is like, yo, you got to go talk about this. You know what I mean? So like, cause I feel like sometimes I'll just go to the studio cause it's like something to, you know, cause I selfishly want to make music so I can put out and get views and all this stuff. And I try to restrict myself on that. Cause I'm like, you know, like the other day, God said, he said, it'll be all right. And I kept hearing like, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. And so I went to studio and I did a song called God's Love, which is coming out tomorrow.
Okay.
And it's like, it's just about like, yeah, God's love and like how amazing it is. And I just feel like there's like, when you accept Jesus, bro, it's like, there's like, what else can you do in your life besides tell the other person about God's love? Like there's literally nothing more amazing than that. You know what I mean? And that's all I'm chasing now. It's just like, I just want everyone to know like how much God loves them.
Yeah, like evangelizing, right? Like and really, you know, spreading the word for the best and planting seeds.
Yeah.
Planting seeds that you know, we can't force anything, any belief upon anyone, but at least we can feed what we're receiving from it, and they can choose to receive the same if they can have faith and also believe, because faith is a very strong thing that once you have it, you know, it goes pretty far. Because some put it into the wrong things. Like you know, there's the worldly practices that you know, I'll definitely have to do some more research on, but I've learned multiple times and been reminded multiple times that spiritual practices that are not from God, you know, can only come from one place.
Like yoga?
Hot take.
Yoga's interesting because
that is one that my mom tells me though. She's like, be careful who.
Really?
Yeah, be careful who you let teach you yoga, because there's a lot of spiritual practices that are not from God.
Yeah.
At least, you know, that's what she says, and that's why I say like I need to do my own research on it still.
We got to open up a Christian yoga studio.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That'd be kind of cool.
That would.
Yeah.
I would stand behind that.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. So yeah, there's different spiritual practices that I've learned, and actually I've experienced how like, yeah, none of them are from God. And because you know, obsession among fans can take an extent that like you wouldn't expect until it happens. You know, it's like learning the hard way type of thing. So
yeah, real. I was curious. I was gonna ask you this. I forgot to ask you. Completely switching gears.
Yeah.
Where does the love for purple come from? Because I feel like you mentioned purple a lot. Obviously, you got purple hair. Like, what is purple? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, purple. Wow. Well, I mean, so I say I'd probably give it to, you know, like my past when I was in elementary school. I forgot how I got it. Maybe I chose it or something. Got a purple JanSport backpack, and you know, that was the one I wore every day to school for years, and so like it kind of just like became a part of my like routine in a way.
Yeah.
But also when I was like 9, 10, 11, I would get shirts and stuff like from Trading Posts or like Melrose and stuff whenever I would come out here. Or no, I was still living out here. And that would claim like royalty royalty, and it would be like royal. I really rocked with Tyga's brand. I don't know if he still has it. Last Kings.
Last King, yeah.
Yeah, and I would like repping that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like king, like I'm a king. Okay, yeah, like this is cool to rep. This is cool to rep, and then I didn't really put the pieces together about like how those correlated until many years down the line. But when I was 15 and I was dropping music, I was like, okay, release a song called Cut Her Off, and it was like paid for some Fiverr cover art, and it was they did it purple, and I was like, okay, no, this looks fine. And then my next song, Ride My Wave, which is still up as like my first song on SoundCloud, but that one was also purple. It was like bluish purple, and I was like, okay, you know what, we kind of got something going here. These cover arts look fire, and it kind of sounds purple too. Like the sound the sound that I was expressing, I'm like, if there's a color that can describe it, it sounds purple. And then every cover art after that, you know, so I was just like, you know, like let me just keep trying that. Yeah. And every cover art since I was 15 has been purple that I've put out. Yeah, at least the primary color of it is purple. Yeah. So yeah, it's just one that I chose to continue to rep and really just make a whole huge part of my image. Yeah. Huge part of my image, and yeah, it's and claim royalty. That's where I had a huge time that it's kind of still there. It hasn't really fully left, but there was a time like 2020 to say 2023 that I was like had my bio for the longest time like Angel/King. These people started saying pronouns. I'm like, you he/him. I'm Angel King. You know. Yeah. Even if we're talking about pronouns and how you say them, that wouldn't fully make sense. But you know, I was just claiming that, and always using purple to distinctify my sound and my image, and it became a goal some years ago to eventually trademark my own shade of purple. You know, like a whole other hue, and that we haven't discovered yet. Wanted to just add like another letter to the color hexadecimal code, if you know what I'm saying, because like now I know the literal hex. I think it's called hexadecimal code for royal purple, because royal purple is my favorite shade. And it's like, because I said it in one of my recent songs, color code numbers 7851A9. So whenever I want to put in a color in any of these like little visuals I'm editing, little sheets I'm editing, and it needs the exact color code, I'm like, what's that lyric? 7851A9. Yeah. So it's like, I'm gonna create my own color code one day and just soldier purple or something, because I began calling my fan base my soldiers. That's cool. What, like 5 years ago, maybe 5 years ago and stuff. And so I haven't really put that out there for like, I haven't branded it a whole bunch. Yeah. But I think, you know, I should, because of it soon I have in the plans actually of kind of starting a little, I want to say collective kind of, but TTS for top tier soldiers. And I had it planned for the longest time as like a collab album, but now God told me, it's like I had an epiphany about like a month ago that was telling me, okay, when I release that TTS album, that's gonna be for God's soldiers. So it's gonna be Christian. It's gonna be Christian music, even if they're not a Christian artist or like put out Christian music. They're going to for this album. Yeah, you know. So it's like So that's something that I'm also lining up right now, just stacking up, because that's something I want to put out in 2026. Yeah. And but yeah, God's continuing to work through me in that way and in the plans and everything. So I don't think I need to rush it right now. Yeah. But you know, that's a double-edged sword, because my mom told me actually that this purpose that I have that she's known and I've known that I've had for the longest time. She said that like, if you're not going to be the one, if you're not going to act on it, then God is going to find another person to fulfill that purpose. And I needed to hear that, because I'm like, wow, dude, I was sitting doing nothing, like just waiting for God to do something, you know. And there's a reason we have free will, you know, and it's for me to choose for me to choose to do the thing for the better and not just sit and wait, because at that point, you know, it's like I'm playing for the devil. If I'm not openly just playing for God, the devil is getting what he wants, because both of them know my power of influence. And so if I'm not doing anything with that, it's just it's not for the better.
Yeah. Damn, that's bars, bro. That's bars. I was
crazy
gonna
to
ask
think
you a
about.
follow-up question, but I feel like I just want to end on that because that was so beautifully said. I also just want to say, like, purple to me is definitely royalty, right? Like, that's what I think about when I think of purple. And I think when people understand that we're made in God's image, like, it's hard not to treat yourself as such, because you know what I'm saying, not from an egotistical, prideful perspective, but it's like, yo, if I'm made in God's image, like, I love myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think purple kind of has that. It can have that influence on people. So
Definitely.
yeah, man. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna just say
Okay.
definitely. No, I think that it's one of those that can stay in your head for a while. You know, I'll be hearing like, yo, I saw this, or I'll meet someone for one time, and they're like, yo, I saw this purple, this, and it reminded me of you. I saw this purple, it reminded me of you. And I'm like, okay, fire. I guess because I can't say a lot of people choose to rep and rock purple.
Yeah,
you know, so
for sure.
yeah,
Maybe
one of
smoke
those-
purple. Wait, does he have anything to do with purple?
I don't think he got anything to do with purple. I don't know if I've seen him rock purple once.
Yeah, you
just maybe just lean. Honestly,
that's crazy. Would you do a feature with Dave Blunt's? He wears purple a lot. He wears the purple tracksuits.
Dave Blunt's he the fat one, right?
Yes, very
he the Lizzo boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think from what I can remember, he could sing really good, right?
He's very talented.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Why you making something with
I
Dave
would love
Blunt's?
to. Dave Blunt's. Let's lock in, bro. Come on.
Yeah,
but he does talk about lean. I know his biggest song is about lean. So.
Yeah. He definitely got a lean gut, to say the least. You know. Yeah.
For sure.
Does
he
he?
really?
He went on Bryce's.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah. Shout
Oh
out Dave
wow.
Blunt's.
The
Big
more
boy.
you know.
Yeah. So funny. Dude, Soljay, thank you so much for coming, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, no, it was, your perspective is very refreshing, and I love that you're going that Christian route, bro, because I think it's needed. You know what I'm saying? And there's not a lot of Asian, not to bring race into it, but like there's not a lot of Asian Christian artists,
No, it's true.
and there's
That's
not a
very
lot of
true.
Indian Christian artists. So you know what I'm saying? I think we got a little something.
Yeah, we do. We
Yeah.
do. Yeah, God's plan, man.
Come on. Well, thank you, bro. If people don't follow you already, where can they follow you?
They can follow me on Instagram or TikTok at @1soulj, or on TikTok it's @soulj. Where you at? WYA. And everywhere else is just look up Soulj on Google. Find me on any of the platforms you listen to music on. Yeah.
Turn up.
Turn
Let's
up.
go. Thank you, bro. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you,
you.
bro. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe, leave a review, go follow Soul J. Get into your word this week. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Christmas time, get into scriptures, all that good stuff.
Christmas time, Jesus' birthday.
Yes, sir. Big B-Day coming up. Guys, we love you. We'll see you guys next episode. Peace.